Welcome, fam. Welcome to another episode of Good, Bad, and Ugly about real estate with Jose. I got a good friend of mine, Michael Oakes, on there for you.
How you doing, y'all? Pleasure to be here.
Welcome, Mike, to the show or to the episode or whatever you want to call it these days. So, as I mentioned before, just why don't you go ahead and tell everybody a little bit about yourself, how you started in real estate, what made you get into real estate, and go from there.
Yeah. So, as Jose just said, my name is Michael Oakes, Pittsburgh guy myself. Not born there, but raised there most of my life. I'm a Navy brat, so spent a lot of my youth, moving around every 3 years till we got to Pittsburgh. Spent 20 years there, and lo and behold, met my best friend and business partner, who 2 years ago in November we started our real estate investment company. And Paul is his name. He called me after a year of being an agent. I was an agent with Berkshire Hathaway in Pittsburgh for about a year. Wasn't for me, so I ended up shifting away from real estate and got away from it for about a year or two. Then I got a call one day from my best friend saying, "Hey man, you were an agent. Like I just heard about wholesaling. I just watched this Jamil Damji video, and he talked to me about it for like an hour, maybe 2 hours." A week later, our LLC was formed because I spent my did the due diligence to look at all the videos, figured out. Then we came across creative finance with Pace Morby, ended up at Squat Up Summit, and have the pleasure of being in Owners Club just like yourself. And luckily got to make a great relationship with my boy Jose here. And, now we're here telling the people how we did it.
Yeah. So you said that you started off as an agent, and then you saw Jamil's videos. Did you guys join his community, or did you just go straight into Owners Club, or
So that's
how'd that work?
Yeah, we went to Squat Up, and Paul and I looked at each other that day that Pace got on stage right after Cody, gave her speech about the Owners Club. We were going to join Sub 2 that night, and he said all this stuff about Owners Club. I didn't even let him finish. Halfway through the speech, I was up out of my chair and in the back of the room, and we're very grateful to be in it. But yeah, it was agent life is different. I was right after COVID, I was that was four, so I was probably like 26, 25. Wasn't in the right headspace, was not the right time for me to get into real estate. I thought it was gonna be super easy, and that I just didn't really have the network or the connections yet to build a book of business to be an agent. But I've spent many of hours like yourself cultivating that network now, and it's I'm in the right place, let's just put it that way.
Awesome. So, what kind of investing have you done now that you and Paul have partnered up?
Mhm.
And then on kind of like a second part of that question is like how is being an agent still? Are you still an agent right now?
No, I'm not. My license is in escrow, and it's probably about to fall out of escrow because it's been too long. But we mainly started out wholesaling. We really focused on that because that was the first stuff we fell into. I knew about it from being an agent, but they kind of just tell you about it for 5 seconds, and they're like, "You'll never use this. Get this out of your head." Um, so so basically that started. Then we found out about creative finance, and we were lucky enough, after I think we did 2 3 deals, we were lucky enough to take one down ourselves in Maryland, which basically right now covers the entire overhead of our company, besides the Owners Club stuff. So yeah, that's it's great, and we love it. And hopefully trying to take down more and starting to get onto our capital raising journey very recently. Michael Manatsakanian is a big reason as to why we're capital raising. But yeah,
Michael Beast.
he is. I don't know how he does it, man, but he's a legend in this game. So shout out to him. Appreciate you, Mike, for that one-on-one you did right after Boston. Changed my whole way I looked at real estate. And same with Paul. I know he talked to him a good bit. So yeah, it's been interesting and very fun.
Systems and processes. That's what it is. Systems and processes, really.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what he pushes too. So I'm assuming you're a part of his school community.
I'm in his free one. I wasn't
Ooh.
able to join during the discounted rates that he had. I know Mando is, so he's killing it and he loves it. But I eventually I'll get into that. But just Christmas was a tight budget
Oh
situation.
no, trust me, I
So,
understand, man. So, I mean, you and I've been, kicking it for a little bit. So you guys did wholesale. I thought you guys were considering going into multifamily. Are you guys kind of like diversifying?
Yeah, a little bit of diversification. We're not afraid of any multifamily. We during the Arizona one, we were mainly focused on commercial, and it's just a tough game, Like the one side, the seller side wants everything about the buyer, and then the buyer side wants everything, the financials about the deal. But there's both sides need something that the other one won't give. So it's a little like a Cold War situation.
Absolutely.
So we're trying to capital raise to cut that piece out on commercial, single family, multifamily, anything like that. So we have a bunch like we're raising for Leuver right now. Paul's mainly focused on that on a couple quadplexes. And so if anybody's looking to get some quadplexes, hit us up. but yeah, it's been fun. And instead of, trying to worry about if this deal fits other people's buy boxes or what have you. We're out hunting for those exact deals and trying to raise the money for it. So it's very fun. It's different, trying to learn something new in this game. You can never stop learning. So it's been fun, and it's got its own list of challenges, I guess.
Right. So, I mean, you said you were an agent at one point. Do you have another W-2 now, or are you doing real estate full time?
So I am a caddy at the Ocean Course here in South Carolina. That's where I live now in Charleston, over on Kiowa. I don't live there. I wish I did, but that's where I work on the weekends. And then depending on the time of year, I'll do more on that and bounce back and forth. But it's kind of cool that I'm able to get outside, see some golf because that's my big thing. I'm a hockey player and a golfer. That was all both the sports I played my whole life. So yeah, it's nice. Obviously, I wish I was the one hitting the golf shot all the time. So
I
that's
don't
why
know.
we're
I saw
trying.
your post on Facebook with your 7 iron. Looked like you cleared that water pretty good.
Yeah, I can hit it. I can play. I'm a single digit handicap. I'm a one or a two. But everybody has a bad day, so you
Sure.
never know what it's gonna bring in. With all how busy we've been, I don't really have time to play golf right now. Trying to change it, but
Right.
that'll come in time.
2025 is your year, man.
I got a feeling about that too. Same for you, brother. There's something in the air right now. I don't know what it is, but it's probably, I don't know if it's the changeover in the White House or what have you, but
Who knows?
something's doing
Something's different, right?
it. Yeah.
So you mentioned Paul being your partner, and I know
Mhm.
where he lives. So you want to kind of share that you guys are not in the same location and how you guys make a partnership work. There are
Yeah.
people who watch this that say, I don't. There's nobody that lives by me that is into real estate, or I don't know anybody who wants to partner. So kind of share that, you know, that dynamic of
Yeah.
partnering with somebody that's not like in your city.
Yeah. So like I was saying, Paul was when he called me with the Jamil video. Paul was in Italy. He was in the Air Force, so he was actually stationed over in Aviano Air Force Base, and it was like the middle of the night when he called me. It was like mid afternoon for us, maybe early evening, and he called me. It was like 2 a.m. for him. He was like, "Have you heard of wholesaling?" So he came back. We didn't really start everything until he got back. Like we formed the LLC, we got everything kind of going, but he was stationed in Missouri at once we got everything going. And for the first year, he was there. I was here in Charleston. So we have a virtual office that we are in most of the day. Obviously, we have different meetings and different things going on, but you can create a virtual office, which is so 2024 and 25 of us since COVID, that you can basically do the same things and be right there in front of each other all day long. So if you have any questions, if you need help on something, if you just want to bounce an idea off of a partner, and that's really kind of what we focus on. We started in Discord. Now we've gotten a little more professional. We got Google Meets that we do it in. But it's makes it a ton easier. And obviously, sometimes it can be a bit distracting, like a normal office, because my best friend's right there, so I'm gonna talk to him. But when we're locked in and we're focusing during those money making hours, it's really cool to be able to like see everybody on the phone making calls and getting what they have to get done throughout the day. So it's pretty interesting.
Cool. So, um, capital raising. What are you learning as you pivot into capital raising? Strategy. I mean, it's everybody says I want a capital raise, but it's not just I want to start raising money. There's a lot to it. So,
Yeah.
share what you've learned up to this point.
Yeah, so obviously still learning, still getting everything down, but really, you don't have to use your own money to take down these projects, as you know. But for the folks at home who are watching this, you don't have to use your own money. There are people out there that are willing to lend you the money, PMPs, who are private money partners or private money lenders. Obviously, they are expecting a return back, so you have to make sure that your numbers are the most important thing. So there's like you can even use IRAs, like self-directed IRAs, private funds, personal savings, if that's their choice. But the main thing that we're trying to trying to make sure that we do with OPM, other people's money, is make sure that we have the security, the actual like basis behind it that makes everything actually tick on it. So making sure the terms are right, interest rates, what the returns are going to be, any collateral, stuff like that, promissory notes, deed of trusts, just making sure that everything's kind of matching up and that we're evaluating it the right way, and just making sure that people's money that we're going to deploy into these deals are actually going to make their money back, if not even more.
Awesome. So, you and Paul, are you guys both your own underwriters, or do you have somebody on the team that underwrites for you to evaluate the
So
deal?
yeah, I do a lot of the underwriting. Paul is very knowledgeable when it comes to underwriting. I started out that way just because I had a finance background in college and kind of after that a little bit. So the numbers are kind of my thing. I can read numbers better than I can read words. That's for sure. um, but yeah, making sure that the numbers are right, and we'll go around like people who are in the area, because obviously different ARV percentages happen all the time in different states and different areas. So we like to do some research of our own and reach out to knowledgeable people in that area if we don't have the knowledge ourselves, just to double check and make sure that this deal is a deal and that we can actually get the returns that we're estimating, not promising obviously, because you can't do that, um, but estimating to make sure that that happens.
Cool. So, are you guys planning on syndicating? You guys planning on joint venturing with people? What is your strategy there?
Yeah, so for right now, like with Leuver, we're kind of JVing. So we're going out finding the capital for them, and then we're gonna either get a piece of equity, or depending on what we need at the time, we might just get paid out right up front. But we're really trying to create that longevity, that residual income that's coming in every month, and so that way we don't have to worry about, oh, we got to go close another wholesale deal this month. Whenever you got that security coming in, and then obviously then we can take that and deploy it into our own deals like we did in Maryland, and get some more creative deals, because who doesn't love creative deals, right?
I know I do.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the ones I like the most. So I know a little bit about you. Pete, you talked about security there,
Hmm.
and you know, you're kind of a little bit of a nomad, if I can say that. I saw
Please.
you living out of the RV,
Yeah, baby. Yes, sir.
so you
It's
can
cheaper.
exactly you can move around. So just because I bring that up only to share with the audience that you know you don't necessarily need to know the area that you're investing in. You have the flexibility of being anywhere you want to be, the freedom of traveling like you do. So,
Hmm.
you want to share a little bit about how you're in RV sometimes, and you know, investing
Yeah.
and working your real estate, and then you know, when you don't want to be, you don't have to be.
Yeah, exactly. That's the beauty of living where I live. I just to give you a little background. So I was a 21-year-old homeowner. Sold that to move down to Charleston, South Carolina. I regret that decision, but it is the reason that I was able to start the business with Paul. Is that we had a good bit of funds to deploy, and to be honest, I don't really need a house right now. I don't. We travel so much with Owners Club and real estate in general. There's so many different places to go that I just don't really need it. And I was living with some roommates that, weird situation. It kind of ended a little weird, but that's neither here nor there. So I ended up moving into this, and you're exactly right. I can take this anywhere I want. I'm not just stuck here in Charleston because I have this house that I got to take care of and maintain and do whatever. If I want to, I could drive out to Phoenix with this bad boy. I could go to Texas. I could come see you.
There you go.
You're in what, Colorado, right? Or is that?
Here in
Yep.
Colorado, come anytime,
Yep.
bro.
Oh, brother, I'm trying, man. I'm a skier and a snowboarder too. I've been itching for years to get out to Colorado, and my girlfriend Annie would love if I was able to get her over there. So
January
that
is usually the best months because that's usually when we get our good snows toward the
okay,
end. We haven't got any.
okay,
We had one down here, and I say down here because I'm not in the mountains.
right.
Mountains seem to get more snow than we do, but I can tell you from experience, been here 10 years, that January is usually going to be the best time we get some fresh powder, some nice good cuts in there. So if you
Hmm.
want to come, that'd probably be January into February would probably be the best time to come.
Noted. I will do my very best to make it out there. I can't promise you anything this year,
Now,
but the year's coming. I will definitely make it out to see you. That is no doubt about it.
after
But
2025, I ain't seen you. I'll just fly you out because 2025
okay,
is gonna be an
deal,
awesome year
deal.
for me, man.
We should have a couple deals together by then anyway, so we should be
Absolutely.
just fine.
So, my channel is called Good, Bad, and Ugly about real estate. Can you share with us some good stories you have, or a good story, and then a bad story that you kind of learned a lot of lessons from?
Yeah, absolutely. So a good story. I mentioned it before, but I'll give a little tidbit to it. We've closed 10 deals at wholesale within the 2 years that we've been operating, and we took down one ourselves creatively, which we were very lucky to do, and we're very honored to have something in the portfolio that is not only adding to our bank accounts, but it adds to the net worth on a longevity scale. So it's pretty cool. Um, and let's see. You want some bad? Let's go with. Hmm. So the bad was me selling my house. And, no, I'm just playing. It's real estate is a lot harder than you think it is, and so
Sure.
a lot of people make it out to seem like it's the big time players out here. They've got their systems and processes dialed. So I would say the bad is really getting through that learning curve and dealing with those lessons because you're gonna face them whether you have a jump start on people or not. You're going to get thrown some curveballs. You're going to hit some tough times, and you got to be able to navigate those waters. Like it's not all going to be sunshines and rainbows every single day. You're going to have a deal that's about to get to the closing table, and they just back out right at the last second for no other reason other than they can. So I would say that's something that we've dealt with a lot this year, and a lot of people in the industry have been feeling that. 2024 was kind of a strange year for real estate. It was a buyer's market towards the end, but with sellers' prices, right? So there's not really much you can do there. So that's what I'd say is really trying to spend the time and understand the markets that you're in, or if it's just one market, multiple markets. And if you hear any rain, I'm sorry, it is pouring on the RV right now. So
It's all good.
just want to make sure. But yeah, it's really about taking the time to learn. Like if you can do it all you want, but if you don't have the knowledge and you're just out here slinging mud at walls, like we hear a lot of wholesalers and people in this industry are doing, you're not going to make it anywhere, and you're going to keep making the name of wholesaling go the wrong way. We wanted to go this way. We want to get better and not have people who are out here slinging mud. So I'd say really take the time and learn what you need to learn. Don't just dive in head first without having any basis of real estate or anything like that, because it's a wake up call real fast.
So there's a brand new wholesaler that's watching this episode, right?
Hmm.
And you just said that you would prefer that they weren't slinging mud and see what sticks. How would you advise them to approach a deal so that they're doing it ethically, um, morally, the right way to
Yeah.
bring, I don't want to say honor, but to bring legitimacy, I guess, to wholesaling, right? Because many people that do wholesaling is because they don't know what they don't know, and then they're
Mhm.
following the wrong people that are teaching them the wrong thing. I can honestly say from personal experience when I started wholesaling that I got some really bad advice, right?
Yeah.
Point of fact is I had a local guru that I paid a good chunk of money to learn from them because they're the local guru. And
Right.
long story short, um, I had some money tied into a wholesale deal, and he's like, just let it go. I was like, well, then I lose my money. He's like, okay, and it's like it's not your money because I had borrowed money to get into the deal, and the particular seller was a lawyer,
Oh, jeez.
and they're like, if you don't, you know, make good on this, I'm going to sue you. Blah blah blah. And long story short, we figured out a solution to make all parties involved happy. But that's where it's just kind of a story showing that can't always go by people that have experience because if they're not doing it the right way, you're just going to be taught the wrong way. So
Right.
I want to share what you consider the right way of doing wholesaling.
Yeah. So for me personally, the way I went about it was I went and got my agent, like I got the foundation of real estate through being an agent. So for me, it was a little bit of a shorter curve, I guess you could say. The wholesaling side, I would go directly to Jamil or Pace. I'd go directly to Sub Two or Astro, and I would go to the Kings. I not to discredit Jerry or Brent Daniels. I would go to them too, whichever one fits your vibe and whatever tribe, I guess you could say your vibe attracts your tribe type
Sure.
stuff. Whatever that feels right to you, then I would go make that happen and dive in head first and understand it, because these guys are the biggest four people in the industry right now that are really doing it things the right way. And it's not just like, oh, come learn from me. It's a full-on community that they will want you to be a part of. They have things that you can go do, and they have a lot of knowledge and actual results that you can go follow and do it that way. But I personally went YouTube U. It works. It's not recommended. I still use it a lot just to make sure I'm up to date and learning the new guidelines from Jamil or new strategies from Pace or Jerry or Brent. And really just getting that foundation, because you have to have some grasp of what we do and how we do it, or else you'll just, like I was saying earlier, just be throwing mud at walls and hope that it
Right.
sticks, because we've all done it. But if you can skip that phase, it's gonna help you a ton.
Yeah, I think what I would add to that would be if you're wholesaling, let that not be your only exit strategy, right? Make sure that when you go under contract that you are truly going to close one way or another, whether it be you're going to wholesale it or you can have the means to um, flip it, fix and flip it yourself, or the numbers work so well that you can just turn it into a short or long term rental. Make sure you don't have one exit strategy because if that doesn't work, if you don't find an end buyer, you're gonna not close on that deal, that contract. And believe it or not, real estate is a small community. So if you start doing that a few times, agents are going to start talking, especially in the same offices, and you'll start losing the ability to wholesale because you don't close.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, that's so true. And you'll miss a lot of opportunities, and you won't be able to keep that reputation ironclad that you want to keep. So I completely agree with that. Completely agree with that. And I feel like I had something else, but I forget what it was right now. If I remember it, I'll sling it back around to it. But
Sounds
yeah.
good. It's your rodeo, so whenever you're ready, let me know. So You mentioned that you and I are both in Owners Club, and in Boston, um, our partner pays Morby, right? Because he's a partner in our title,
Yes,
creative
sir.
title and escrow. Just kind of a little plug right there for our title company.
Yeah.
Um, Gave us a challenge of listing, talking to other investors, and asking, telling them what we have to offer them, and then asking, letting them know what we need to take our business to the next step, or to continue being successful. So, can you share with us, what if somebody wanted to partner you, what things that you have that you bring to the table, and then what you're looking for from somebody who may want to partner with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So the things that we have right now, we have a kick-ass dispo team that if you have a deal that you are getting or having a hard time with or dispoing, or you just don't want to deal with dispo, reach out to us. My Instagram is right there, Mike's REI Roots. We're Veterans Choice Investments as well. That's Paul and I's company. We we're obviously raising capital. So if anybody wants to join in, that's a kind of more of a need, I'd say. But we also have a social media agency, which is something I know I have to talk to you about later. Um, that we're trying to bring on more clients and bring on a bunch of different people. We brought on a few partners. April is one of them. April Elias, that is, absolute killer out here in the game. If you don't know who she is, find out who she is. She's gonna be big for your growth. Will Castillo, who is a killer marketer and can create funnels in his own chat GPTs. He has like white label ones, so he does all that. And then Will You, who he's the king of Facebook and Instagram ads that we kind of combined forces with the YouTube automation from April, the funnels and marketing from one Will, and then the Instagram and Facebook ads from the other Will. And then you have Paul and myself who are great at scheduling out and optimizing the content that we put out, shorts, from our long form videos and a bunch of different other stuff, just so we can drive people to our content and see what we can do to help. But that would be what I have. What I need are investors who are looking to partner with our boy Leuver, and we're trying to raise some money for some deals on his behalf so that way he can get these fix and flips moving at a better rate. Um, and yeah, and I guess needs are also deals. So if you need us to help you on dispo, we can take a look at your deal, see if it actually is a deal, and if we would be able to get it out at that price. And if not, we just let you know. We're very honest. If we can't help you, we're going to, but we want to help as many people as possible and create generational wealth through real estate any way you possibly can, especially for veterans and their families. So that's the big thing for us because I come from a military family. Paul's a vet himself, so yeah, it's something near and dear to our hearts.
So you kind of just skipped it. So I'm going to make sure that we highlight it. You guys do a podcast yourself with a roundtable, right?
Yes, sir. And we got two: The Wire, which is the Wise Oh my God, that was English. The Wise Investments Real Estate Podcast. That's Paul and my own. That we just do a little bit of Monday and Friday. Make It Happen Monday, Financial Freedom Friday, just to give some tips and some success stories, and just like yourself, even some bad stories. What to do different. And then we have the Owners Club Roundtable, which we've had you on, luckily, thankfully.
Yeah.
That involves six of us. That we now have Zaskia on. Recently, we added her on, so that's another one to add
New
to your
member,
list.
right?
Yeah, Ali unfortunately had to step away due to some family stuff, so we kind of filled the spot, and now we're still rocking and rolling.
Awesome. Well, Mike, I want to thank you for coming on the episode. It's been great talking to you. Always a pleasure. It's been a little too long. I got to make sure I get a
Yeah.
little bit better at keeping in touch with all the people. But I don't
So
want to say
hard,
all here, but
400 of
400
us.
people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
but
so difficult.
some people are more family than others. I'll put it that way. How's that?
That's
I
fair.
mean, they're
That's
all
fair.
they're all family, but some people are a little bit closer.
Second and third,
There
cousins or
you go.
whatever.
Second, third
Yeah.
cousin. Exactly. So thank
I
you for coming on
feel
the episode. I appreciate it. I'll make sure that everybody has your socials in the description on the episode, and yeah, you got a deal. Mike and Paul, they do nationwide, so
Yes.
that's one thing he did not share.
Yep.
So you have a deal that you want to get dispoed, hit him up. He's got his social right there, and like I said, it'll be in the description. And Mike, again, much love, my friend, and
Pleasure,
we'll
my
talk
friend.
soon.
Absolutely. Yeah. And don't forget, hit Jose up. He's a killer in this game. He can help you in any way you could possibly think of. So don't hesitate to reach out. My friend, it is a pleasure as always. And that's not just on you. I'll make sure to reach out more to myself. So thank you. I appreciate you for
Appreciate it.
life, man. You're the man.
Thanks, man. Until the next time, guys, somewhere around here like this. Woohoo! Later, fam. Next episode.